What are you doing? I'm heading into Satan's armpit. I just don't think I can cope. I'm lacking a few brain cells at the minute. I'm gonna go run a 5K. Oh my God, I'm obsessed. I'm going to be launching my brand new Trover trip. Her boyfriend is literally a walking ick. Hello, my guys. I do not know why I'm so excited to be here today, but honestly, I am. It's the start of a new vlog. It's full of possibilities. And honestly, the next few days that are coming up, I have quite a lot going on. It is, for the most part, all very fun stuff. And I'm really excited to be taking you guys along with me. But I do feel like, in general, I get overwhelmed really easily. So I feel like doing a cute little weekend reading vlog will help to keep me on track, kind of in the same way that my day in the life vlogs keep me really productive, because like documenting it kind of holds me accountable to staying on track. And that's what I'm hoping that this is going to serve as. We are going to have a real good time. I will admit though, tomorrow is going to be a little bit boring. I had to take my car to my dad's because somebody scraped my car where I park it, and my dad is going to be patching up the paintwork for me, and then I need to come home and edit a video. But on Saturday, I am going to a really cool event in London that I'm really, really excited about. As somebody on YouTube, you know, we are the forgotten book platform. It is always an honor to be invited to cool things. This is actually one of 2 events that I have coming up over the next few weeks, and y'all know I get really excited about them. So I'm going to be taking you guys along with me for that. I'm going to arrive into London a few hours early as well, so I can eat, essentially get myself a matcha from Blank Street and grab a snack. And then on Sunday, I'm going to try and get some reading in. I'm going to take it easy, have a little bit of me time, and I'm also hopefully going to be doing some baking with the help of the sponsor of today's video, which is Craftsy. If you have not heard of Craftsy yet, then you are missing out, because Craftsy is an online community and resource for craft enthusiasts that offer over 2,000 classes across over 20 different crafts. Now, this includes baking, cooking, journaling, woodworking, as well as things like embroidery, sewing, and paper crafts. The classes are broken down into step-by-step instructions led by award-winning friendly instructors, making Craftsy a welcome resource for people who are looking to level up their crafting skills or maybe pick up a new hobby. Now, the last time we had a segment of baking with Becca in a vlog, I actually made it wasn't a multi-tiered, it was a multi-layer chocolate cake using Alice Medrich's Craftsy class on decadent chocolate cakes. And while the assembly was a little bit of a mess of that cake, that was the best chocolate cake that I have ever tasted. And everybody else who tasted, not just me, everybody else who tasted it agreed with me. It's better than the birthday cake from Get Baked. And I've eaten a lot of that cake, so I have the experience to tell you that that is true. So on Sunday, I have a couple of options of recipes to try, but I want to make something like comforting and sweet. So I'm actually torn between the pull apart wheat honey bread with hazelnuts from Gian Kelly's class on how to make the most of your stand mixer, or I might try my hand at some cinnamon rolls. I've never really made like a proper dough before, so both of these are going to be a challenge. But the cinnamon roll class I've had my eye on is Cinnamon Rolls from Classic to Contemporary by Judith Fertig. So we'll kind of see what happens. But if you guys want to explore Craftsy for yourself and whip up something lush in the kitchen, or maybe just pick up a new hobby, then I am happy to let you know that the first 1,000 people that click on the link at the top of my description box will get 1 full year of Craftsy premium membership for just $1.49. And that is valid for new members only. Thank you so much to Craftsy for sponsoring this video. So in terms of what I'm going to be reading this weekend, I have 1 book that I definitely want to get through, although I may pick an audiobook up alongside. I have already started the main book for this vlog, and I can tell you it is not audiobook friendly, and that is Daughter of the Drowned Empire by Frankie Diane Malice. So yes, this is the book that I confidently said with my whole chest in my June TBR that I had already read. And at the point that I filmed my June TBR, I was like, I'm 100% going to start this before the end of May. And then I didn't. Can't even remember why. I got into a little bit of a slump, didn't I? And I ended up taking a week longer to to read my Patreon book club book, which meant that I never fit this in. So I have started it today. I am now definitely reading it. And the funny thing about this is that this is my Patreon pick for last November. It's been on my TBR for such a long time. And I keep saying I'm going to get to it. I am really excited to read it. I'm not procrastinating on it because I don't want to read it. I really, really do. But this is Natty's pick, and Natty's pick came out once again in June, because every time like somebody's books picked, like on a 6-monthly basis, I ask my patrons to submit new books to replace them. So Natty's got incredible luck, and I actually read Natty's June pick before I read this one because I read it for Charlotte or Scrap It. So we're finally going to be picking up the November pick. And the reason why I say it's not audiobook friendly is because it's very dense so far. And I'm actually mad at this book because I was reading this today and I was like, this could really, really do with a glossary. And I thought that it didn't have one because this is like the end of the book. It's like normal text. And then I was talking to my patrons because I'm currently doing reading sprints right now actually, and I realized, like, I flicked further back and the glossary is not at the very end. This bit here right at the end of the book is actually the first chapter of the next book. But obviously if you're looking for a glossary, you're not going to flick that far back because I'm assuming that I'm spoiling the last chapter there, and I'm not. Like, the glossary is before that. So I thought that formatting was really annoying. I can't really tell you too much about this at this point because it is kind of dense. And I don't feel like I'm following it the best, but essentially we are following this girl and she is like the heir. I don't know if I call her a princess. I need to reference the glossary to find out what the titles and like the royalty is in this world. There's also like notes on formal address, so it is pretty intense in that regard. It's not the most dense thing I've ever read, but definitely going into it I wasn't expecting this level of complexity. But she is like an heir. She's important in society, and in this world certain types of magic are forbidden, and I don't know how to pronounce the type. I'll look that up in the pronunciation guide and get back to you. Oh, can I just do it now? I'm here. I might as well. Varrock. Varrock are taboo, forbidden powers. So there are 3 Varrock powers, and they are mind reading, telekinesis, and visions. And right at the very beginning of this book in chapter 1, our main character is witnessing her sister go through, or her cousin go through, this ceremony where I think your powers are tested, maybe revealed, and it's revealed that she has these Varrock powers. So she's taken away. I'm assuming that she was killed. She's definitely imprisoned, maybe executed. And after this, the girl's father takes her and her sisters aside and tells them that Varrock powers run in their blood, and there is a blood pact kind of to protect them, to hide these powers so that they don't get imprisoned / executed. So then we cut to chapter 2, which honestly, like, the chapters are pretty long in here. I'm only in chapter 2, where it's 2 years later and our main character's sisters have developed abilities. One has visions and the other one has telekinetic powers, I think. Oh, mind reading. There's telekinesis, mind reading, and visions. Yeah, that's the 3, right? That's what I said. I'm assuming that our main character is also going to develop some. And I know that there's a series of trials in this book as well. I think there is a romance plot line, but at the minute it's kind of just dense high fantasy, and that is fine by me. I'm sure when I settle into this world and learn a little bit more about it, I will start to enjoy, like, I'm hoping that I really get into this one. I've been quite excited about it. So my plan is to get through this, which, as it's more dense than I expected, for 4 days. I'm pretty sure that that is ample. However, on Saturday I do have some quite lengthy train rides, so I may end up getting to something else, which of course I will let you guys know about if we do indeed get to that point. And speaking of getting to places, I better get back to my Patreon sprints. What are you doing? There's nothing in here for you. Get down. Hello my guys, it's time for my outfit of the day before I get my train to London in about 20 to 25 minutes. It is hot here. It's really, really hot. It is 23 degrees right now at like 9:30 in the morning. I'm sweating and it is going to be like 2 degrees hotter in London than it is here. I'm headed into Satan's armpit. I just don't think I can cope. I'm not taking anything, like I'm taking a bag with me of course, but I'm not taking any other clothing with me apart from what I'm wearing, which is this long Hollister dress with a split in it. It's like a crochet material. I can get away without a bra in this, which is why I've chosen it, but it is a little bit tighter. My only other option though was something that was more loose that had longer sleeves, so I've gone for the armpit ventilation in this one. But honestly, I think it's going to be a sweaty day regardless. And I actually forgot to put primer on my eyes, so I don't know if my eyeliner is going to stay in place. So I do have a makeup rescue kit in my bag. I'm taking like a audiobooks tote with me. I'm going to wear my Doc Martens sandals and pray that I can stay cool. One of my trains, at least, the 2-hour one from Doncaster to London, should have air conditioning on. The first two we're just gonna have to roll with, and it's a Saturday, so this is probably gonna be quite busy. But I should tell you where I'm going. So I am going to an event, as I mentioned. Did I mention? I'm going to an event. I'm going to a book event. It is a Fairyloot event for Maggie Stiefvater, associated with the release of her adult novel, The Listeners. Now, I was actually supposed to go to a Maggie Stiefvater sign-in in York last night, not last night, Thursday night, with my friend. However, he's hurt his foot, and because I'm going today, I decided not to go to that one. So I'm going to go to Waterstones actually and pick up a copy of Maggie's book so that I can have it signed at the event as like a little memento, which unfortunately is going to be another book hauled this month. But I do want kind of like a event souvenir. And what I have read from Maggie Stiefvater in the past, I have really enjoyed. So I need to go finish packing my bag. I have a big bag here of Lululemon cycling shorts because I tried a bunch of different ones. I already had them. And the ones that I had, the stitch had come undone in them. They didn't have them in stock, so I tried a bunch of different ones, and I have to return all the ones that I didn't want. So I need to put all that stuff in my bag. I'm not too far into my book yet. I've been watching a lot of Vanderpump Rules, so I'm not really into it enough to be able to give you guys an update, but hopefully after like 5 hours on trains today, I will be a significant amount of the way through that one, so I can give you guys some more detailed thoughts.
I would like a drum roll of applause. I didn't think it would spin for this long. 19? Oh, no,
Wow. I feel like today has been not a write-off. I was going to say a write-off. That's a bit dramatic, but it's definitely not been as productive as I initially planned. I think a combination of not sleeping very well for the majority of last week, plus the fact that I was out literally all day yesterday and I only got home at like 1 a.m. Then slept like the dead as well. Like I slept so well last night, and it's just taken me a little bit to come around today. So it has been like a couch rot day for sure. But the event yesterday was amazing. Thank you so much to Fairyloot and Shannon for inviting me. I had an amazing time. I met a bunch of like really amazing people, other creators from Instagram, Book Talk, a couple of YouTubers were there as well. And I was actually really nervous about going because I didn't think that I would know anyone there, which for the most part I didn't. There were a couple of people there that I had recognized though. And the good thing about these events, which I know because I have been just to one before, but the great thing about these events is that everybody's kind of really open and friendly. There's a lot of people there who don't really know anybody. So it's it's really easy to kind of like mingle and make conversation. And Maggie Stiefvater is an icon. Like, she is such a cool person. She came over and spoke to us for like 30 minutes talking about like our celebrity encounters and our star signs and stuff. And she's just such a really cool, interesting human. She has so many hobbies and so many like cool little stories. So it was really great to be able to hang out with her as well, because I have said to you guys before, like when I go to author signings, like I don't actually always meet the author because I feel like you get 30 seconds to talk to them, and I don't really feel like I can say anything kind of like meaningful in that 30 seconds, and I just kind of get my book signed and then I move on. So it was really cool to be in more of like a private, small, intimate setting with Maggie and really be able to have a conversation with her as well. I did get my book signed. I did pick up a copy of The Listeners as well, which is going to bite me in the ass when it comes to July's, it's going to be August. The episode of Shelf or Scrap It that's supposed to go up in July, but I'm not mad about it. I'm not pressed. I do not regret it. So yeah, thank you so much to Fairyloot for inviting me. Hopefully they'll have me back in the future. Hopefully I didn't make an absolute tit myself. There were a few drinks there, amazing porn star martinis, and I had a couple of ciders as well. So that was probably contributing to why I don't feel my best this morning, because while I didn't drink a lot and I definitely was not drunk, I don't drink in general. So sometimes I feel it. I'm not normally a cider drinker either, if I'm being honest. But I do actually have an update on my book now, because I did read quite a lot of this on the train. I'll be honest, on the way back, I think I read about 10 to 15 pages, and then I watched 2 episodes of Vanderpump Rules because I was so tired at that point and I didn't want to fall asleep on the train. But I'm 218 pages into Daughter of the Drowned Empire at this point, which is, I think, about the halfway. Now, because today has been such an unproductive day, I did say this was a long weekend vlog. We technically started Thursday night, so it already would have been, but we are going to extend into Monday as well. Maybe I'll get that baking done because I do still really want to. And I also, of course, want to finish my book for this vlog, and I'm definitely not going to do it today. I'm lacking a few brain cells at the minute, but I actually, I'm going to be honest, I don't know if I'm enjoying this one. I am pretty sure though that in one of the videos where I've mentioned reading this book, that at least 1 or 2 people have told me that you kind of have to be patient with this one. So I am trying my best, but I feel like it's holding me at arm's length. Like I don't feel like I'm truly absorbed in the story, which is really frustrating. But essentially this is about a girl. To be fair, where I'm up to, I've only just got into what is laid out in the synopsis. So I can't really develop anything past what the synopsis says. But we're following this girl and she lives in a world where, like I said, you can have this like illegal type of magic called a Vorak, I think was how we figured out how to pronounce it. And her cousin is revealed to have this. Her father reveals to them all that it does run in their family. And when it comes to the day that our main character Leah, I'm actually going to look how to pronounce her name. So she's called Liriana, so I guess she would be called Leah. Yeah, for sure. So our main character Leah, it comes to the day of her ceremony and she steps up there and she's fully prepared that she's going to maybe have this Vorak ability. And when it comes to the point where she's supposed to reveal her magic and reveal that she wants to be a mage, nothing happens. And it turns out that she actually has no magic at all, which is unheard of in this world. It's not something that happens. So she is taken and interrogated because they think that maybe she does have a Vorak or she is concealing one. And it turns out that she's just got nothing. So when you are an unproductive member of society in this world, when you cannot be a mage and you cannot be a Satori, which is like a soldier, you have to leave, like you're exiled. It's kind of argued in her favor because they've typically only ever used this law to banish criminals before. But in Leah's case, like it's not really her fault that she doesn't seem to have any magic. And so they make an exception and they take her to train among the Satori, so the soldiers. And this girl, like she's a lady, like she has not picked up a sword in her life. She is not the fighting type. She has not been training for this. And so we get thrown into this like kind of academy setting where the person who is training her is this guy who has been exiled from his own land and has been taken in by this one. It's kind of like taboo that he has, to be honest, but she ends up training with him to try and get through this training program because she only actually has, I think, 6 or 7 months to prove herself. And if she can't, then they are going to end up exiling her. So I think it is the world building that I'm really struggling with in here, because we do have that glossary, which I am glad that I discovered at this point, but I don't think a glossary is great for a reference, okay? I love a glossary, please. I do need it. Pronunciation guide, amazing. I don't think that just including a glossary is a substitute for digestible world building though. Like, I don't want to start a fantasy book and have to read through the first page and like every 2 sentences like flick to the glossary to find out what's going on, because it's just a little bit too much. So for me, good world building is where the author, like on the first instance of you encountering a term, the author will explain it to you. Then if you need a refresher, like a couple of chapters away, like you haven't heard the term for a while, then you can go back and check it in the glossary. And I do feel like this is one where you're kind of thrown in. It has a lot of terminology. It's quite dense. It's quite complex. And the author is not explaining it as you go. You are really reliant on that glossary. So it's not my preferred form of world building, and I do feel like I don't have a connection to the characters. Like, I don't feel close enough to them. I feel like everything is kind of playing out in front of me. I don't feel like I'm in the thick of the story. So like I said, I do think that somebody commented and told me to be patient with this book, so I'm going to try and do that. Ideally, I know it's 7 p.m. Ideally, I would love to get through another 100 or so pages today. That would be amazing, and I could read another like 100 to finish us off tomorrow. Tomorrow, my plan is, well, my original plan was to edit this video, so I guess I'll do that as well, but also to get that baking done. Essentially just have a redo on today, and hopefully it'll be like a productive one, but a fun one as well, because I feel like I need that going into the new week, like a little bit of a reset with some like hobbies, but also some work as well. Good morning. I'm looking a little rough, but I'm also feeling a little rough, so it makes sense. Guess who did not sleep well again last night? It's me. I didn't exercise yesterday because I was tired. So I was like, it's a Sunday, let's chill. And it always affects my sleep, and I really wish I could be in a place where I could sleep without exercise, and I can't. So I'm going to be starting my Monday off strong. I know I sound super flat right now. I haven't had coffee or anything. I've literally woken up, brushed my teeth, and I'm going to go run a 5k, which I don't know a good 5k route near me. So I have to do like 2.5 miles or 3.5. So we're going to go for the 3.5. We're going to pass the 5k. It's like a 45-minute run, which is longer than I typically do. But I think as somebody who runs, like people who run, you should pretty much do like at least a 5k. That's pretty normal. Whereas for me, like I like running, psyching myself up to run, completely different. And psyching myself up to run for 45 minutes is much harder than psyching myself up to run like 20 to 30, which is like 2 to 2.5 miles. So here we go. We're gonna cry. We might cry. What I meant to say is, we're gonna try. If I have to do running and walking intervals, I have to do running and walking intervals. We'll see how I feel today.
That was close, man.
So I have picked my recipe. We're going for Judas cinnamon rolls, and the only ingredient that I did not manage to get is actually a really important one, especially for somebody who has never handled dough before. I did actually make a focaccia towards the end of last year, I think, which was okay. I feel like it was a little bit greasy, and also I feel like I could taste the yeast in it. So this is my second attempt at dough. Now, what I didn't have last time was a stand mixer. So I have my dough hook. I don't have to knead anything by hand, but the recipe calls for instant yeast, and I went to 3 different places. I already had dried yeast in. I have opened this. I thought I hadn't, so I'm gonna have to check that this is actually still alive. Can't remember when I bought it. I don't think it was very long ago. I actually didn't think that I'd used it, which is why I thought that it was fine. Oh fuck. Okay, I'm actually pretty sure that this yeast is dead and should have been thrown away. And yes, I bought new yeast. So I have a guide on how to convert it, so I think it'll be fine, fingers crossed. It's just obviously because yeast is the key ingredient to dough, and the part that I'm inexperienced with, because I haven't really dealt with dough before, the yeast is kind of important. So I have my video guide, I have my printed instructions, and we'll see how this goes. It obviously, because it's dough, has some rising time, and during that rising time I am hoping to edit some of my video and read my book. So I had to add quite a bit of flour to it while it was mixing because it was like way too wet. I don't know. I'm really worried about the yeast. I have to be honest. I'm not confident at all. But I think I've got it to the right consistency. She also said like if you press it with your knuckle, it should spring back. And I mean, is it? It is like a bit. So I'm also assuming that means that the yeast is okay. I also, because you have to activate dried yeast in water, usually with like sugar. And the recipe doesn't have water, it has whole milk. So I used milk. Milk already has sugar in it, it's lactose. Anything that ends in a ose, so like lactose, sucrose, glucose is all sugar. So I figured that the sugar content in the milk might be enough to activate it, and I did put like a couple of grams more yeast than I should have, which is one of the reasons why I'm concerned. But I was putting it straight into the milk, so I couldn't really like get it out again. And then it was like frothing a bit when I stirred it, but it wasn't like crazy bubbling, but it was like a brand new tub of yeast, so it should have been fine. So I have it in an oiled bowl. I think that's springy, which like I said gives me hope for the yeast, and I think it's the right like consistency now. So I need to cover this in plastic wrap and put it in a warm place, which at the minute the kitchen is not a cold place. I could go put it in my bedroom actually, because it is definitely like it's 3 degrees hotter in there for some reason than it is anywhere else in the house. I'm gonna cover it in plastic wrap, which is my least favorite thing. I really hate using plastic wrap. There we go. And I'm going to revisit it in 45 minutes and see what we have. It should have like doubled in that time. I just realized how chaotic my hair looks because I washed it this morning, and I obviously like I haven't done anything with it, but also ignore the chaos behind me as well. If you guys missed out on Shelve It or Scrap It, you won't know that I have started a DIY project in here over in this corner. Very exciting. I'm building some shelves into the opposite alcove. So like my desk here is in an alcove. The opposite one had a bookcase in that was starting to collapse, and I essentially bought that bookcase because I couldn't afford to have alcove shelving, like built-in shelves put in. And then like last weekend I decided fuck it, I'm gonna put them in myself. So I haven't finished yet. I have actually put some of the dust covers away just this morning because all I have left to do is paint. So I only need to obviously protect the direct area that I'm working in, but everything, like I still have loads of books in boxes with a dust cover thrown over them over there, and I'm hoping to have the painting done by the end of this week. I'm actually hoping to start tomorrow. I need to go and get myself some MDF primer and decide what color I'm painting the walls. Actually, I am making a full video on this as well, so you'll see the entire project from start to finish, along with like bookshelf reorganization and stuff. But the chimney breast here, as you can see, is blue. The other walls, like the alcove walls, are this color. So I don't know what color to paint the shelves. I think I'm gonna go with the gray, but I kind of wanted to go with the blue, but then if I go with the blue, I have to repaint the like interior of the alcoves as well, which means I have to get all of my desk out, and I really don't want to. And then I have other shelves here, which to be fair, at some point I am gonna have to paint these shelves because these just have the white primer on that they had on when they were installed. So I'm gonna have to paint those to match those ones at some point, but that point is not right now. Maybe I'll do that when I get back from Zanzibar next month, which actually, speaking of that, I have something that I need to tell you that I wanted to tell you in this vlog. So if you guys don't know, I host Trover trips. If you don't know what a Trover trip is, it is a trip that I organize, I host, and you guys can come along with me to explore whatever location it is that we are going to be exploring this time around. So next month in July, I'm going to be hosting my 3rd Trover trip to Zanzibar with a group of 18 amazing people, most of which actually I have met before on previous trips of mine. A lot of them came to my Thailand trip last year. And I also on Friday, so I think this video is going up on Thursday, but on Friday I'm going to be launching my brand new Trover trip, which is to South Korea. Now I actually was not prepared to talk to you about this right now. It's literally just because I mentioned Zanzibar, so I'm just logging into my account so that I can give you guys the information on this if you would like to join us. I will of course link the trip in my description box, and whichever Trover trip is like my current one is always linked in my description box as well, so you guys can go and get a breakdown of the full itinerary of what we're doing, how much it costs, how long we're going, the exact dates. But just to run through the basics for you right here, Trover trips are essentially group trips. So group trips are very common, very popular. It's essentially where you pay a tour company to build an itinerary for you. You go to a place, you have a tour guide that shows you around, and it gives you kind of, for me, the thing that that I really love about group trips is that the itinerary is taken care of. And what I've actually recently been doing with the trips I've been taking is adding little like 3-day extras on either side of the trip that I've planned myself to really make the most of my time away, because Trover Trip takes away the stress of the entire bulk of the trip. I know I'm seeing all of the highlights, I'm covering everything I want to see. There's free time built into the trip as well, so you can go ahead if there's something you particularly want to see in Seoul or Busan, which are the 2 places that we're visiting on this trip. You can go and do that around the itinerary, and if you want to use that as downtime or just like stroll around, you can do that as well. I feel a lot of guilt when I'm traveling. When I have free time, I feel like I should be making the most of every moment, and Trover Trip takes away that guilt for me, because I know I'm like kind of doing what I need to do. I'm making the most of every moment, and I also have time to chill out and relax as well, because you're on holiday, so like you're not supposed to be like super stressed about it. But this one in particular, I have tried to make it teacher friendly. This is why I've struggled. Like I get a lot of requests for teacher friendly trips, but there is no universal time that every teacher around the world is not working. It's really damn hard. Okay, so I used, because I know Zanzibar didn't quite work for the UK teachers, it was like a week out, so I've used my council's schedule to plan this trip for Easter 2026, so over the Easter break. And I know that this does not line up with every council. I know Greater Manchester, I think, are the week after this, which is really unfortunate. I'm sorry guys. The trip is going to start on March 29th and end on April 4th. We have a really cool itinerary. One of my favorite things is an observation deck on the 5th tallest building in the world. There's also like a hanbok fit in with the opportunity to take photos. There's a 4-cut photo shoot as well on a different day on the itinerary. There is a visit to the Seoul Forest, the Gamcheon Culture Village. There's also a like Gwangjang Market visit. So a whole bunch of cool stuff. Now, this is the most expensive Trover trip that I've ever hosted, and I'm very aware of that. I am so grateful for you guys for giving me the platform to have the opportunity to host these trips. Honestly, I love them. This will be the 4th one that I've hosted, but the 7th one that I've been on, actually, because I've been on 3, I think, as a traveler, as well as hosting 3 myself, with Zanzibar, of course, being the 3rd that I've hosted. And the reason why I've gone with this, because I have looked at South Korea before, but stayed away from it because traditionally the itineraries are always a little bit more on the pricey end, is because I'm actually thinking of taking a break from hosting after this one. There is no tea. I love Trover Trip and I love hosting group trips. So this is definitely something that I intend to return to, but I might just be taking a break for a little while. Like you may not see a group trip from me for 2027, or if you do, it might be like at the very end of the year. We'll kind of like see what happens. But because this might be the last Trover trip that I do for a little while, I wanted to do the destination that like I wanted to do. And South Korea is like a bucket list destination for me. So if you guys would like to join me in South Korea, then you are more than welcome to do so. I have 10 early bird spots. I have increased the amount of early bird spots to make it a little bit cheaper for everyone. And the early bird spots come at a discount. So they're $150 cheaper than the regular prices. And the first 10 people who book to join me in South Korea will pay $3,649. And then the regular price after that is $3,799. You only have to pay 25% to secure your booking. And then I think at around the end of the year, your full balance will be due. So you can like set up a payment plan, or you can just like pay the 25% now, pay the rest later, or pay it all in full like when you book. It's completely up to you. And I know that this one is an expensive one, so we'll kind of see how it goes, but I'm really excited about it. Once again, I know that this isn't for everyone, and I always get people saying, oh, these trips are so expensive. For me and for a lot of other people, like I don't have the bandwidth to plan trips like this. And you're paying for the convenience of having somebody do that, take care of the logistics. We have a tour guide, takes us everywhere, that is our point of contact, that deals with all of the translations. You get to do some more like niche stuff that I personally wouldn't do. I'm not the kind of person who goes to a place and then pays for like a day tour of something. Like I just wander around and do my own thing. So these are a godsend for me. If you like to plan every single detail of your own itinerary and pay less money to do so, then you're just a different kind of traveler, essentially. You do you, boo. So if you have any questions, please leave them down in my comments. And this trip will go live for booking on Friday, I want to say the 27th. The day after this video goes live, Friday the 27th of June at 7 p.m. BST. And once again, for those of you who have no interest in this or don't want to join me or are not able to join me, I just want to thank you for, like I said, giving me the platform to be able to continue to take opportunities like this. I'm pretty sure that the recipe said that the dough should have doubled. So I'm considering this a success. Okay, so this pan, well, it's a glass dish, is like an inch shorter than the one that Judith is using, but it's all I've got, so it'll have to do. And I'm making the pan sauce, which is essentially just wiping the butter around. Oh, there's nothing really that I hate more. I'm gonna get kitchen roll. I thought I could do it with a packet, but I'm not a fan. I love me some butter. I do. I really, really do. But I also like the thought of touching it with my hands when it's kind of like soft and room temperature is giving me the ick. So this is to stop it from sticking, and also because it's butter, it adds flavor. Okay, I'm gonna get my spatula. Yeah, that's the one. Beautiful. And then I'm going to make my cinnamon sugar filling, which Miss Judith over here is using Vietnamese cinnamon. I'm using Tesco. I'm sure the quality is the same. Damn, am I actually gonna have enough cinnamon? I was like, I've got plenty of cinnamon, but because it's so fine, like it doesn't actually weigh that much. Like this is 40 grams in this entire tub and I didn't have an entire tub. Luckily, we have a backup cinnamon. This is Costco cinnamon. So, you know, still not Vietnamese, but I'm sure it'll do the job. Never used so much cinnamon in my life. I'm excited about it though. And then the sugar, it's a lot of sugar. Might need a bigger bowl. Oops. Exactly why I should have got a bigger bowl. Here goes nothing.
But look how pretty that is. Sprinkle our work surface just a little bit. Feels like a baby's skin.
Oh.
I'm just gonna make sure that our
Here
dough
goes
isn't
nothing.
sticking. So we're gonna go. Some of you might be type A bakers and you know who you are in real life.
Oh,
so if
oopsie.
it bothers you that you're not getting a perfect rectangle.
Okay, let's try again.
Ours is sticking a little bit here. Get a little thicker part there.
This is not a rectangle. But is it sticking? No, I'm good. Okay, so I'll carry on. Genuinely don't know how big 20 inches is. 16, so like I'm right on this length. A bit more that way. But then of course it isn't a rectangle. Let's get rid of this. I'm an amateur baker, okay? I'm not a pro. This to go out a little bit longer. It's been a long time since I've used a rolling pin. I don't feel like I've properly used a rolling pin since I was a kid. Probably doing like biscuits or something. Almost 20 and almost 16.
I like to use an offset spatula.
Yeah.
You can also
You're
use
smart.
a table knife. That also works really well. And you want the butter to be softened. And again, this just sort of glides over the dough. All this is extremely pleasurable. Just
Is it?
the smell
Is
of
it, Judith?
cinnamon, the feel of the dough from the smaller end and have bigger, thicker cinnamon rolls, or do you roll it from the larger end and have roll? You want to make sure that you get off.
I feel like
Use a
for personal
pastry brush
taste,
for
this
that
is
if
going to
you
be a
wanted to.
little bit too thick on the filling for me.
So all of this should be pleasurable for you too, the baker. It's pleasurable for me doing this right now. It's like you just want to relax. Refrigerator and let it firm up and then cut the rolls. Sometimes on a hot day with our cinnamon rolls.
Oh my god, I'm obsessed!
Just a nice.
So we are in our second proofing stage, and for the first proofing stage I edited this vlog, and for the second proofing stage with my crazy raggy scarecrow hair I am going to read some more of my book. Did I finish editing this vlog? No, I didn't, but I also have not finished my book, and both need to be done. So I think I have like another 45 minutes to get another chunk of the way through this book. I do want to update you a little bit though, because I've read like 80 pages I think since the last time I spoke to you. This is what I was supposed to talk to you about the last time we spoke, when I I got distracted. But I think I've kind of pinpointed that is stopping me from really enjoying this book. And I think it's that I don't really like the main character, which is unfortunate. I have discussed how I feel like we could benefit with a little bit more explanation within the world building throughout parts of this book. But then I feel like that is not balanced out because it's like tips too far the other way when we come to like really quite simple concepts of this world. But the main character needs explaining to her and really broken down into the bare basic parts for her to understand. And the guy who I think is going to be love interest, because part of the reason why I don't like the main character is because her boyfriend is literally a walking ick. The fact that she can't see the red flag, the fact that she's so colorblind, is also not really endearing her to me. But the guy who I think is actually going to be the love interest, he's like, oh, you're so smart, you're so clever, like you're not a very good warrior and you haven't learned about being a warrior, but you'll get it eventually because you're so smart and so clever. But I haven't actually seen her be smart or clever in this book. So the specific example I'm talking to where I kind of realized that this was happening is that there is Hamilton, just watching him because I've left Butter out there and I know what he's like. I'm sure he's just come through here somewhere. But there's a part of this book where like she's entered this warrior academy and this guy who doesn't like her is testing her and he's like, what's the first rule? And she's like, I don't know the first rule. You have been in there. What have you been doing? So then the guy, Ryan, who I think is going to be the love interest, is like telling her what it is. And he's like, what is the main point of a warrior? And she's like, to protect people. And he's like, yes. And what do you think the first rule is then? And she's like, oh, I don't know. And he's like, why do you think we're not allowed romantic relationships? She's like, oh no, I don't have a clue. And he's like, what's the oath that you swear? And she's like, before all else, I will protect people. I will forsake anybody I care about and I will protect people. And he's like, okay, so what's the first rule then? And she's like, oh, I don't really know. The first rule is that you don't have personal connections that come before your job. Like, your job is the most important thing. Like, you save the realm before you save your own family members, and that is why they don't encourage personal connections, and it's really obvious, and he really has to break it down for her. And it's just like things like that where Frankie Diane Malish really goes out of her way to really, like, we had a like 3-page breakdown on the first rule and explaining every single step to get to what the first rule was. And I wish we had that same level of detail to some elements of the world building in here instead of like really over explaining these quite basic concepts. The guy who is this like the main character's boyfriend, can't stand him. He is the guy that she was like supposed to marry because she is this princess, and because the political climate of this world is unstable, his grandmother is now like reluctant to give them her blessing. And this guy as well, like she's very aware from the beginning, like he's the person who imprisoned her cousin. He thinks that the Varak are evil, that they should be executed, that they shouldn't be allowed to live. That's her entire family. And she's like, oh, well, maybe he'll get over it. And he's not going to get over it. And she even acknowledges at some point that he's not going to get over it. And she just goes straight back to being like, oh my God, I love him. I'm like, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? I am enjoying it a little bit more since we've shifted to actually getting into this warrior academy a little bit. But I don't know about this one. So let me know down in the comments if you've read this and if you think it's worth continuing. I'm specifically interested in hearing from people who maybe didn't love book one. Obviously, I've still got, I think, about 115 pages to go to figure out for myself, like maybe the end's really good and I may want to continue. But if you, I guess, felt similar to me with this one, if you continued, like what you thought of book two, because I guess I was just really excited for this. So the fact that I'm not enjoying it is not fun and I'm really disappointed. I think we're done. I'm surprised. Aww. Damn, they look fine. This step is supposed to be done in a food processor, but I just have a blender. So typically this is just cream cheese frosting, and when I usually make cream cheese frosting, I do it with my hand whisk, but I'll follow the instructions.
And now we'll just let it make a frosting. And it only takes about a minute. And it's frosting.
Ha ha ha.
And then let them come to room temperature. All right, we want these to still be a little warm because this way you really get the best ooey gooey finish.
And they are done. They're probably best if you eat them warm, but it's like 4:30 and I can stop making dinner in like half an hour. I'll just leave them on the side and come back to them after dinner. Do you want that one?
Why do you not want that one?
No, I don't know if it was an easy one to get out because it's right here. They're like glued together, or no, it's bringing all of them with it. This is not going to be a clean break. There we go. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that this is like the side of a different one. You might want to fork because the frosting's really thick. It's still very slightly warm, and I think that I very slightly overbaked them because the top is crispy. The top is crispy. Well, let's see what the actual like dough tastes like. I did good. They're really good, and they're not, the filling isn't too much like I thought they were going to be. Good morning, my guys. Unfortunately, last night after dinner, I got a headache. You know, one of the ones that like radiates down into your jaw. So I had a miserable few hours before I tried to sleep, and then really frustratingly, I struggled to sleep again last night because my jaw was sore. And so I was just really hyper focused on it and like where could I position my head so it was like supported, but I wasn't pushing on it and like relaxing it. But then because I'm so aware of it, I'm like, is this a normal relaxed position? So it took me ages to fall asleep again, but when I did manage to fall asleep, I did sleep like the dead, which was great. An update on the cinnamon rolls as well, because I did have one for breakfast, which was not especially nutritious, but here we are. I do think that the filling is a little bit too much, so if I made the recipe again, I would probably reduce it by about 25%, just because since I've been back on a high protein diet, I don't eat the most sugar on a daily basis. Sweet treats like baked goods are my vice, and you will often find me with some sort of like cake as like a sweet treat. But generally on a day-to-day basis, because I've replaced a lot of my desserts with like protein stuff, I've just massively reduced my sugar intake. That's kind of just been like a side effect of it. And so when I have something like that that's homemade and really, really sweet, sometimes it is a little bit too much, which I did think, as I mentioned, like when I was actually making them, that I thought that that was going to be a little bit too sweet. And it's fine on the outside, it's where the spiral's tighter, so the filling is more dense, that it's just a little bit too much. But aside from that, I really like them, and the dough especially turned out really well in my opinion. My favorite part of a cinnamon roll as well is like the roll and the frosting. You don't need the actual cinnamon filling to be that present or like thick or anything, as long as you kind of get the flavor across. What are you doing? Oh, she's chewing on her slipper. She has her own pair of slippers because she used to steal mine all the time, so I gave her her own, and now she just chews them instead. To be fair, when she was stealing mine, she wasn't chewing them, she was just running around with them because she thinks that she's funny, silly, goofy, which to be fair, she is. But anyway, while I did not manage to achieve very much last night, I did manage to finish The Daughter of the Drowned Empire by Frankie Darren Malice, and unfortunately for me, and for anybody who loves this book in the series, I guess, I continue to not really enjoy it until the end. And I'm especially frustrated by this one because I've been struggling with the romantasy genre recently. I did a whole project where I read all of Fairyloot's romantasy sub to try and identify like themes, tropes and stuff that I enjoy. I used to love romantasy like 4 or 5 years ago. It was like my favorite genre, and I don't know whether the reason why I've fallen out of love with it is because of the oversaturation we have in the market right now, where nothing's like really very well edited. I don't want to say that things are poorly written, because I actually do think it's an editing issue, not a writing issue, and everything seems very samey. Like everything to some degree is just a copy of Sarah J Maas. Like that is super frequent at the minute with the things that I've been reading, and none of those things, none of the recurring complaints that I've had or the things that I've seen crop up frequently, the issues I've frequently had with romantasy, are actually an issue for this book. And that's why I'm frustrated, because all of my normal complaints aren't present here, so I feel like I should love it. But then I have other things about this that I'm not enjoying, and one of the things that I'm really sad about is I feel like recently I've been saying about romantic books in general, like, oh, I like the writing style, it was really compelling, the world building was good, I'm interested in the plot, I don't like the romance. And in this one, I really like the romance. So I'm mad because I don't want to continue the series, because the romance is the only thing that I love. But in terms of that romance, this one is a slow burn. It has a little bit of a forbidden romance in here as well. Our main character is attached to this absolute lettuce that I swear is a walking red flag. If it does not turn out that he is a bad guy, he's either a bad guy or spineless. Those are his only two options. But she's attached to this guy, and she's also the love interest Ryan's apprentice. this. So nothing can happen between them because of what I was saying earlier about how like relationships within the Sotori are forbidden because they're not supposed to be attached to anything more than they're attached to their mission. So you have that forbidden element to it, which I really love because it creates a lot of like tension and pining and longing. And we have like some emotionally charged declarations throughout the end of here as well. Nothing really happens romantically between them in this book either. It is very much a slow burn where I feel like the escalation of their relationship and actually turning into a relationship is probably going to come much later down the line. So I feel like we're going to have a lot of problems created by the plot later in the series, which I sadly will not be watching unfold. But the reason why I think that I did not enjoy this book is the world building. I think that the components within this book are all individually interesting, but for me, they never really became cohesive and created a full picture. This is like partially Roman Empire. I've read that it's inspired by Cleopatra as well. It has some interesting elements to the world, like the way that they travel around is different depending on what area of the world they live in. But like the country that we're in for this book, they travel on like these big birds that have like carriages attached to them, so they fly around the world. The politics is somewhat interesting. The main conflict in this book actually is that the main character's father is the ruler of this country and people think that he's weak, so they're kind of being infiltrated by the warriors of a neighboring country to like shore up their borders, but it feels like a hostile takeover. Like it feels like these people are going to turn on them and try and take their country. And one of the reasons why the general people of the world don't like the main character's father is because this is a country that has been ruled by women for like 1,000 years, and when the main character's mother died, instead of the line passing or the crown passing to her sister until her daughters came of age, the woman willed it to her husband, which is the main character's father. So there's this rebellion rising up to destabilize the royal family, which our main character is a part of. And then you also have the issues within the family that the sisters have these Varrock abilities, which is why they can't rule because it severely inhibits them and is kind of like unpredictable and they have to keep their powers hidden. And then our main character was actually the one who was supposed to rule, but now she has no abilities and she's doing this Sotori training. Meanwhile, tensions are rising across the country as all of this like stuff is bubbling under the surface. So the bare bones of this book, like all of the different things that we have, I kind of enjoyed, but like they never just came together for me. I think that I have an issue with the dialogue. Like I don't really love the dialogue in here. I think it is quite dialogue heavy, and I actually noticed towards the end of this, I don't think there is any description about the world within the book. Like I couldn't tell you what the architecture of this world is, and I do not recall it ever being described. So I feel like the world building was severely lacking in a way that gave me any real understanding or grounding in the world. So that made it quite hard for me to become invested in what was going on, because I'm like a very visual reader in terms of like I'm building a picture in my mind as I'm reading, and if you leave big holes in that picture, or it's not in a contemporary setting where my brain obviously just like knows how to fill in the blanks, then I'm only getting half of an image, and because I'm then not seeing those images, like I'm not immersed properly, if that makes any sense. So I'm really disappointed about this one because I was excited about it. It had a lot of promise for a fantasy romance book. It did not have any of the common issues that I've had with the genre recently, and I did like the romance, but I just was so ready for it to be over during the last 100 pages. I could not start another book in this series. Like I know if I said, oh, I'll give book 2 a try, that's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. It's been on my TBR since like November as well. So I also had hyped it up because it's like, okay, I'm finally going to get to this book. And it turns out that I didn't love it, which is sad. So that does bring us to the end of this vlog, a long weekend vlog that in the end almost became a weekly vlog. Once again, a big thank you to Cosy for sponsoring this one, and please remember that the first 1,000 people who click on the link right at the top of my description box can receive 1 year of Cosy Premium for just $1.49, and that offer is valid to new members only. The next vlog you are going to see on my channel is hopefully going to be the shelf building and bookshelf organization vlog. I am not going to be vlogging what I'm reading for the next week actually, which is wild because I've just started Dungeon Crawler Carl, so I might change my mind because I feel like with that being a book that a lot of people love right now. I might really love it and I might want to share my thoughts. So we'll see what happens, but the shelf one is definitely the next one that you should be seeing, and that is what I'm aiming to finish up with the rest of this week. But I do hope you've enjoyed this vlog if you've made it this far. If you have, please don't forget to like if you liked it and subscribe if you wanna, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you'll go where nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.